This last week was a little bit shorthanded. We had a couple of guys that were out. Chris Spinku had a concussion on Tuesday, didn't make the trip. Jalen Williams missed both days of practice before we left with a virus. He'd been sick, and they told us to keep him away from the guys. Thought that would be smart. And then we didn't have Mason on this trip either. He had an academic appointment on Wednesday night that he couldn't miss. So we dressed out 9 players on this trip and played 7 in both games. We were excited to have Trajan Wesley back for some spot minutes. I believe he played about 9 in the first game. And the second game he played a little bit more, but gave us a boost off a bench, and more importantly gave us a chance to rest Cedric and P.J. Malik and go small if we needed to. And both of these teams played with a lot of guards, so it worked out that we had enough guards to play. The South Alabama game, Josh Ajayi did not play. He'd sprained a high ankle sprain on Tuesday is what we were told. Didn't dress, and we thought that was a good opportunity for us. We wanted to go inside out in this game. The home game, I believe we shot 42 three-point shots, which is too many, and got away from our game plan. They sit tight in the zone, and we were able to do that early. Tyre Smith had a great first half and had a great basketball game. He played well, blocked shots, scored, and rebounded the basketball, had a double-double. And game was back and forth. They got the lead, built to maybe an 8-point lead early in the second half, and were able to come back behind some three-point shooting. Timely three-point shooting. Cedric made 3 in a row, go down 8. We went up 1. Had about 6.5 minutes and led the rest of the way until a minute to go, and they scored and went up 1. P.J. Hardy hits a big three-point shot for us with 40-something seconds to go to put us up 2, and then they hit a 4-point play with 25 seconds to go and really changed the game. We felt like we had the game under control. In my mind, I had the scenarios playing out in my head and what to do, but the numeral 4 was never in my equation. I was thinking 1, 2, and 3 the whole way, and we just had a discipline breakdown there on the defensive end and made a fundamental mistake, and kid hit a big shot and he got the free throw. And then ironically, they gave us a chance to tie the game again. We continued to play it out and extend the game the best we could. Malik Wilson went to the basket, down 2, and got his shot blocked, and we fouled with 15 seconds to go. They make 2 free throws to go up 4. And then Malik goes and lays it in again to cut it back to 2, and then they make 2 more free throws. And we have a chance with 2.1, I believe, throw it length to the floor, execute a play again. Jalen Johnson gets a really good look at a 3. Could have been fouled on that play, and misses his first 2 free throws. Made his first 2 and then missed the third on purpose. And we had a play on to miss it soft, and he threw it off the rim. It wasn't what we intended to do, but didn't work quite as well as it did for Duke against North Carolina, that's for sure. But gave us a chance, and it was disappointing because we had that game under control and felt like it would have been a great win for us. Lost to South Alabama twice this year by 3 points, and could have won either game if we'd have played a little bit better. Then we proceeded on to Troy, had a short practice, shooting practice on Friday night, and then played those guys on Saturday. They hit the first bucket of the game. Got a quick lead, but we led the last 34 minutes of the game. The first 16 minutes in the first half, we played extremely well defensively, and then we let them go on a little bit of a run to end the half and close the gap to 9. And they never got the lead in the second half. They got it close a couple of times. We pushed it back out. Did a really good job sharing the basketball, playing for each other in the second half. Tyre Smith went out, fell, and landed on his shoulder and hit his head on the floor with 6.5 to go. And that changed the game a little bit and gave them some momentum, and they got back in it. They got it to 3 a couple of times, but we made our free throws. Did a really good job from free throw line, executed inbounds plays late against full court pressure. Jalen Johnson made 4 out of 4, and Cedric made 1 out of 2. So we always kept it a 2-possession game for the most part.
This seems like, with everything that you started this talk with, a perfect time to have no Thursday game and just a Saturday game off.
Yeah, it's due for a rest. We're due, and opportunity to try to get some guys healthy and get back to another body, maybe be able to play eight or nine guys if we can. So, and go 5-on-5. We haven't been able to practice this week, and I was talking to a former reporter that covered our teams at Alabama and then covered teams of mine at Sam Houston, lives in Houston this morning, and he was saying, how do you practice? And I said, it's been difficult, and it really hurts us. It really does.
From here on in, you're never playing the 2-game in 3-day thing. You've got some time in between. Does that help your team since you're a little shorthanded?
Maybe. It probably should, Dan. I'm used to playing Thursday, Saturday, and don't use that as an excuse. And we talked last week about playing afternoon games, or I did with someone, and I like to play Saturday night to have a little bit more rest, especially when you're shorthanded. But our staff talked this week about we seem to play better when we have more time to prepare on Thursday than Saturday, but we played pretty good Saturday, and we've played good other times too. So it is what it is. You're going to have to play it out. But we have no more Thursday games. They're going to be the next home games will be Wednesday and Tuesday.
How important is it now to have the tiebreaker with Troy, or does that almost provide like a sense of false security in a sense?
Well, let's see how it plays out. We needed to beat Troy. We swept Troy. Troy swept Georgia State. They beat Little Rock. They beat Texas State at Texas State. They've beaten probably 3 of the best teams in the league, or 3 of the top 4 in the league, and they're dangerous. And we took away the 3-point shots. We were glad to win that game and get the tiebreaker over them. And we've still got a chance to get tiebreakers against people that are in front of us, like Arkansas State and Coastal Carolina.
What's the status of Tyrus after?
He's sore. He's okay. His right shoulder's bothering him a little bit. But he's, as you guys know, he's taken charge. He's been on the floor. He's a tough young man. And I think this time off this week will help him recover.
Will you get Chris back, or is his more serious?
Not sure. Don't know if it'll be anytime soon from the report I got this morning.
Just in terms of beating another team that's below you, how significant is this game on Saturday, beating another team that's below you in the standings?
Well, it's important because it's the next game. It's a rival game with us. I told someone this morning we get a better shot in Monroe than some other Sun Belt teams do, and rightfully so. We played well against them here. They didn't play great in the game here, and the score was a little bit one-sided at the end. They lost J.D. Williams early in the game. He has not returned for their team, and that was a big blow for them. So we just need to play well and win. We need to make shots and win. It's a tough place to win. We've had some success up there, and need to play well on Saturday afternoon.
And then given the fact, like you said, that they didn't really have a great game, how important is it for you guys to really have a good start? Because obviously I'm sure they're going to be motivated at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, it's always important to get off to a good start. We talk about it every game, and we've been able to do that most of the time. We had a drought up at Georgia State for sure, a couple other places where we didn't, and got ourselves in a major hole. But it's always important to get off to a good start, and it'll be no different at Fant Ewing on Saturday.
Can you cheat even more on Ertl if Williams is not there, or not necessarily?
What was the question, Tim?
Can you cheat even more on Ertl?
Yes, well, we'll try. Yeah, we did a good job on him in the game here. And Williams, they were the 2 guys we really want to focus on. But Mike Ertl's an all-conference player. He's a smart player. He's patient, lets the game come to him. He doesn't rush things. And he's definitely our focal point going into this basketball game.
You only have 4 games left, and so we're getting close to the end. And as short-handed as you've been, y'all don't seem to be like hitting a wall. I mean, y'all still playing at a good level and very competitive. What are some of the things that have allowed y'all to do that and not kind of run out of steam?
Well, it's been a challenge for sure, and from injuries to illnesses, different things have happened and popped up that we've never seen before. But our guys have been positive. Our coaching staff's been positive. I've tried to coach the coaches a little bit, and they've done a tremendous job keeping everything moving in the right direction and having solid practices and keeping everyone's spirits up and playing and knowing what is at stake. And we still have a chance to get a home game in the conference tournament, and to do that would be quite an accomplishment.
Is Trajan ready to you were encouraged with how he perform, not so much his execution, but where he is physically being able to make it through the rest of the year?
Yeah, I think so. He's physically in a good place, and he has worked hard to come back in his running. He didn't play as good as he's capable of doing. He had a couple of breakdowns. Going so fast, he ran off and left the ball a couple times against Troy. They were pressing us and getting double teamed, but missed 3 free throws, which surprised me because he's an 82% shooter. But he's doing fine, and he's going to definitely help us down the stretch.
I asked Deacon the same thing with the women. Can you begin your planning or whatever now for travel for postseason, not knowing, you might have to go here, you might have to go there, you might even be able to be at home, or do you just have to wait until the last minute? And how much complication does that provide you? And does it all fall on Burf, or who's handling it?
Yeah, I mean, we do it as a staff, but Mike does the majority of it. He and Michelle handle our team travel. And, depending on where we have to go, the flight could be a flight involved, certainly, and we'll just have to wait and see, but there's no way to plan it out because it's going to go down to the last weekend and the last game of the regular season that night to determine who goes where. And, for example, we could play Coastal on a Tuesday night and they could turn around and come back to us on Saturday, for example. I mean, there are all kind of things that could happen. But there's going to be some complications involved with this type of format, and there'll be some cost involved also.